Good morning, everyone. We get to see people in the flesh. In the flesh this morning. Yay, I'm glad you're here. Thanks for being here. Welcome to all of you smiling faces here in the room, as well as you smiling faces, we assume, at home on Zoom. Welcome to the Sugar Pines Lodge at the Nevada County Fairgrounds. It's a tremendous joy to be together this morning in all of those ways, in a service designed very beautifully and thoughtfully by Beth Caro. I invite those in the room to wave to over by Jordan there. The computer there will pick you up to wave to the folks at home, and we'll assume they're waving back. Eileen Hale and Scotty Hart are hosting the chat this morning and taking care of those people. Angelo DeGangi is here in the room helping to make sure the service is getting to you. Thank you to everyone who's volunteered in numerous roles helping to make this happen. If you're here via Zoom, I want you to know that the people in the room have been given a small stone and a brightly colored blossom. We'll use them in a meditation later in the service. If you have a small stone and a blossom within reach at your home, I invite you somewhere between now and then to locate those, especially if you're a tactile person. And with that, we'll begin our service with the Land Acknowledgement after we hear the chimes in a moment. And Wendy Wernig, who works here for the association that runs the fairgrounds, explained to me that it's no mere coincidence that the fairgrounds ended up here. That this particular piece of land was a place where the indigenous people, the Nisenan, gathered with their neighboring tribes often. So now it's become this gathering place in a different way. The Land Acknowledgement at the beginning of our services invites our attention and our intention to the well-being of the Nisenan people who remain and to our relationship with them. Gail, Cheryl, Carmen, and Linda will add black oak acorns to our altar in a moment as Robin Hart reads the Land Acknowledgement, a reminder crafted by the tribe. I invite Jordan to lead us in with the chimes, and I invite you to follow the sound and let it still you from whatever the busyness of the morning has been, finding this new location, following that flower-strewn path, finding your seat and feeling like you are both indoors and outdoors if you're here.
Okay. In our commitment to be in right relationship with the descendants of this area's indigenous people, we place black oak acorns on our altar each week. In doing so, we acknowledge the Nisenan people are still here among us today, though they are nearly invisible, and their story continues to be excluded from history. We understand we are on Nisenan land that was never ceded, and the original tribal families have yet to recover from the near genocide of their people. As residents or visitors in Nisenan land, we support the Nevada City Rancheria Nisenan tribe in efforts to stabilize their people, as well as the campaign to restore tribal sovereignty through federal recognition.
Bid you welcome and good morning on this very special day. I am Beth, mother of Willow Rose and Rowan Lily, daughter of Linda Lee, granddaughter of Betty Jean and Florence Annie, great-granddaughter of Bertie Mae and Marie and 2 others, great-great-granddaughter of Allie Marie and Ruth and 6 others, and so on, and so on, and so on. You and all your relations are welcome here. It is good to be together. We'll begin by casting a circle to recognize and create sacred space with the guidance and support from the directions and the elements. Please, if you are willing and able to stand, stand, or you can salute with your hands or in other ways to the directions. We'll begin in the east, the direction of new beginnings. Guardians and spirits of the East, we call upon you to watch over and join us in our ritual of remembrance for those who have gone before. Powers of knowledge and wisdom, guided by air, we ask for your blessing of your presence in our sacred circle. Guardians of the East, welcome to the South. Guardians and spirits of the South, we call upon you to watch over and join us in our ritual of remembrance for those who have gone before. Powers of energy and will, guided by fire, we ask for the blessing of your presence in our sacred circle. Guardians of the South, welcome. The West, guardians and spirits of the West, we call upon you to watch over and join us in our ritual of remembrance for those who have gone before. Powers of passion and emotion, guided by water, we ask for your blessing, your presence in our sacred circle. Guardians of the West, welcome. And to the North, guardians and spirits of the North, we call upon you to watch over and join us in our ritual of remembrance for those who have gone before. Powers of endurance and strength, guided by earth, we ask for the blessing of your presence in our sacred circle. Guardians of the North, welcome. Spirits of air, of fire, of water and earth, spirits of the above, spirits of the below, and spirits of the center, ancestors, known and unknown, beloved dead, seen and unseen, may all gather here, hold and be held in perfect trust and perfect love. The circle is now cast.
You are released. A chalice with a flame is a symbol for Unitarian Universalism, one of the precious few ritual elements of our tradition. We light our chalice in this moment, in this particular place, in this shared space, with the combined words of Reverend Florence Keplow and Deborah Burrell. As we kindle this flame, we honor and remember those who have passed into the mystery. Their brightness lives on in our vision. Their courage lives on in our commitments. And their love continues to bless the world around us. May our chalice flame consume our regrets for the past, our fears about the future, and our worries about today. May it light for us a path of joy and peace.
Bright morning stars are rising. Bright morning stars are rising.
I invite you to hum.
Bright morning stars are rising. Day is a-breaking in my soul.
Gestures, a dance of arms and hands if you're able to go with.
Bright morning stars are rising.
Other hand.
Bright morning stars are rising. Bright morning stars are rising. Day is a-breaking in my soul.
One more time.
Bright morning stars are rising. Bright morning stars are rising. Bright morning stars are rising. Day is a-breaking in my soul.
We gather together today to support each other as we remember and honor our beloved dead, those who have loved, those we have loved, and who have loved us, those who have helped us, those who have hurt us, those we have known intimately, and those who we've never met.
Oh, where are our dear mothers? Oh, where are our dear mothers? Oh, where are our dear mothers? Day is a-breaking in my soul.
Ancestors whose blood runs in our blood, who carried us, nursed us, nurtured us, who taught us, who guided us, who punished us, laughed with us, and who cried for us. Ancestors who made us laugh, ancestors who made us laugh.
Oh, where fathers. Oh, where are our dear fathers? They are in the fields of plowing. Day is a breaking in my soul.
Those who passed long before we were born, for whom we were only a distant dream. We know you only from pictures or from stories, and from our own features and those of our children.
Bright morning stars are rising. Bright morning stars are rising. Bright morning stars are rising. Day is a breaking in my soul.
We come as one community at a time when gathering together is both strange and familiar, comforting and possibly a little uncomfortable as well, to recognize the beloved dead of our own UUCM community.
Bright morning stars are rising. Bright morning stars are rising. Bright morning stars are rising. Day is a breaking in my soul.
We gather to honor the forgotten dead, those who died at the hands of others, buried in unmarked graves or washed away at sea, whose names are long lost, but who once were loved just as we are loved.
Bright morning stars are rising. Bright morning stars are rising. Bright morning stars are rising. Day is a breaking in my soul.
We remember with tears and laughter, with good grief, with warmth, with regret, with pain, with deep loss, with longing, with love.
Bright morning stars are rising. Bright morning stars are rising. Bright morning stars are rising. Day is a breaking in my soul.
what is remembered lives. Our celebration today falls at the midpoint between the autumn equinox and the winter solstice, known in the Celtic tradition as Samhain. The word means summer's end. Grain has been harvested, the food preserved for the long winter ahead. Livestock have returned from their summer pastures, and communal celebrations and feasts are enjoyed. Much hangs in the balance at this time. Are there enough provisions set aside to see everyone safely through the coming hardships? Do we have everything we need to ensure our community's survival? Or especially, we know, after the events of late, to survive, we need each other. We need community. Throughout the world and across the ages, these late fall days are recognized as an important time to pause, to mark the end of busy summertime and the beginning of the quiet winter time. A time of balance and reflection. It's time to review the lessons we have learned during the whole year, to let go of what is no longer serving us, and consider what do we want to cultivate in the year ahead. But mostly, this is the time to remember those who have gone before. Our neighbors to the south of us, Mexico and beyond, celebrate Día de Muertos, the Day of the Dead, and Día de los Angelitos, the Day of the Little Angels. And there are many more celebrations of this sort throughout the world. In this liminal time, this between time, many believe that the veil between the worlds of the living and the dead is thought to be particularly thin, and visitations can and do occur. Those who have gone before us may look for their loved ones. It's a time to welcome them, to honor them, to thank them, to forgive them, to make peace with them, and to remember them. Because what is remembered lives.
We begin our annual naming of those remembered on UUCM's memorial tree, a naming marked by the tolling of the chimes. Some of those named are founders of this congregation, people whose vision, generosity, ingenuity, and desire for human and transcendent connection gifted us with this community. Some of those named are members and friends who have since shaped this community with their insight, talent, and amazing investment of heart. Some of those named are spouses and family members of members and friends. Some died long ago, some in the past few months. To prepare to receive their names, I invite all of us to settle into our breathing for a moment. Let our awareness settle into the rhythm, the feel of our breath. Let our awareness settle into that space that surrounds our hearts. Whether many of these names ring familiar to you and stir deep and abundant memories, or whether you recognize none of them, or only a few, may you recognize gratitude in your own heart for all that you have received in your life because of the lives of those who came before, or the lives that have touched yours along the way. Gail Johnson, Vaughn, and I will share the reading of the names as Jordan tolls our chime. I invite you to let your heart go where it needs to go. Sarah Forsland, William Tuttle, Bill Winter, Utah Phillips, Don Scott, Elizabeth Johnson.
John Church, Sherry Everett, John Jessup, Jerry Hoyt, Shirley Horizon, Lloyd Portis.
James Staggs, Lawrence Armour, Jessica Grebenkemper, Leo Winters, Thelma Entrikin, Leslie Elias.
Jim Lane, Jerry Lawrence, Joyce McKay, Jean McFadden, Dorothy Slakey, Don Muns.
Leo Wildman, Riley Martin, Barbara Lowell, Jim Lowe, Sharon Moore, Bill Thompson.
Robert Paulman, Maybell Church, Betty Alsgeiger, James Chestnut, Bill Altheiser, Bill Portis.
Ron Wright, Marcella Hart, Michael Milano, Ernest Jackson, Sunny Holmes, Gretchen Serrata.
Francis Foster, Barbara Barr, May Lawrence, Cynthia Schutz, Dave Edwards, Sage Knowles,
Don Foster, Joyce Keene, Jerry Jacoby, Marilyn Harton,
Paul Bonani, Joanne Olson, Peggy Baldwin, Robert Schutz.
I invite Cheryl, Carmen, and Linda to add leaves to our tree of memory for those final 6 persons named, our beloved who have died since we last read these names 1 year ago. We thank you, those of you named, you who came before and who dared to bring your dreams and your idiosyncrasies to the life of this community. And you who graced our days at the edges or outside orbit of the congregation. We thank you. For those who are grieving still, we hold you in care and spacious tenderness, knowing that your sorrow will rise and fall and morph into new shapes and textures in its own rhythms, no matter what anyone says about how or how long one ought to ache in loss. May we keep all of these beloved in our hearts, in our memories, knowing that what is remembered lives.
This year has been a big year for deaths. Many of us know several people who have succumbed to the global pandemic, dying unexpectedly from complications of a virus we are still struggling to understand and treat. These people died, often alone, and with little or no opportunities to say goodbye. And of course, there are all the other deaths that occurred over the past year, whether at the end of a long life or at the very, very beginning, or anywhere in between. From disease, at the hand of another, at their own hand, or for reasons unknown. We pause now to honor their lives and passing and remember them with love. In a blending of Jewish and other traditions, we will pause for a moment to recall the names of those who have died in the past year, whom we wish to call out. I will walk slowly down the aisle, and I'll stop at each row and make eye contact, and you may call out as many names as you wish that you'd like to call out. And when, of those who have died in the past year, when I have no more names in the aisle, Jordan will ring a chime, and I will say, and then you repeat after me, we honor your life and your passing, and we remember you with love.
And to those who are at home, if you type a name into the chat, I will call out those names for you here.
We honor your life and your passing, and we remember you with love. We honor your life and your passing, and we remember you with love.
Lucy, Melinda, Barbara, Katie, Ellie.
We honor your life and your passing, and we remember you with love.
Nina, Hank Wasselman, Roland Carlson, Rich Vincenti, Rick Barnetts.
We honor your life and your passing, and we remember you with love. We honor your life and your passing, and we remember you with love.
Jack Comerford, Rod Pickett, Joan Alice Hayes, Jenny Bankston, Raymond Burkhart.
We honor your life and your passing, and we remember you with love.
Ramona and Robert Cameron.
We honor your life and your passing, and we remember you with love. What is remembered lives.
Our tree here in the room holds the name, the carefully written name and names of some of the people you have carried with you into the room this morning, or you at home into your hearts. I invite all of us into a time of reflection. I invite you to hold in your hands the stone and the blossom you received this morning on your way in, if you were here. Do you have a stone or a blossom at home or another kind of object you wish to hold? I invite you to hold the memory of the person most present to you this morning, the person who's died, who feels most present in your heart today. Maybe it's the name that you had written or the name that came to mind earlier. Or maybe someone has, in the meantime, come to the surface, or in this very moment, someone feels most resonant for you. Maybe it's the person you cannot help but remember because the grief is so strong. The joy and gratitude are so strong. The memory is so strong. Maybe it's the person you have felt obligated to remember out of duty or expectation. Maybe it's someone completely unexpected, a surprise to you. I invite you to hold the memory of that person. You hold that stone and that flower blossom. The energy of your memory may be of warmth and care and love, or maybe something much more complex and many layered, or confusing, or painful, or blank. The energy you feel may be of regret, something done or not done, something said or left unsaid. Maybe it's entirely gratitude. I invite you to see in your mind's eye their face as you knew it. Hear in your mind's ear their voice as you have known it. Sense in your memory, if it's not too painful, your awareness of their physical presence, their energy, their smell. In your memory, if you can hold it safely enough, what arises in you? With awareness of the blossom that you hold, its bright color, its softness, its glory, I invite you to hold all that feels generous and fortunate and blessed in your memory of your beloved dead this morning. The gratitude. And while continuing to hold that sense of gratitude and that blossom, add your awareness of the stone. That simple yet solid heft. With it, I invite you to notice any piece of your remembering that feels unfinished, incomplete, tethered, or constricting. Is there anything that feels ready to be released, at least a bit? No longer carried as if it were necessary or impossible to do without. Something you recognize now as a product of your own need, but no longer helpful to you. There's something ready to be released, maybe even a little. In your heart of hearts that already knows what it needs to do, in the silence of your inner self, what is it that you would feel drawn to say to the person you remember? You could speak to them now or ask them a question or reveal a piece of who you are. What would you say? In the silence of your heart for a few moments, hear what you would say to them. In your heart of hearts, in your own time, may you say what needs to be said in your life and hear the reply you most need to hear. I invite you, while leaving healthy space between you, those of you in the room, bring your stones and your flower blossoms forward. Beth will place a container on either side of the altar for the stone. The flowers may go anywhere on the altar that feels right. With the stone, if there is something that feels like it can be released, I invite you to release it. With the blossom, I invite you to celebrate the gratitude. Place it as an offering on the altar this morning. Beth and I will help guide the traffic flow. I invite us to hold each other in the music, in the releasing, the blessing, as you move. I love and the flowers too. Beth offers some soil to each of these containers, a symbolic burying, not to forget, not to make invisible, but to consider as part of what will support us in the future, part of what sustains in its mineral essence. For the release, the gratitude, the learning, the understanding, the mystery, the yet to be resolved, the tender, the painful, the real. We give clear-eyed, open-hearted, tender-spirited thanks. What is remembered lives.
All my memories of love hang upon high stars. All the souls I've lost to tears, now the autumn jars. And the air around me is thick and sweet as song. Sing again the nameless tunes, sing again and strong. Willows in September touch the water green.
so much. Now that we've remembered those who have touched us, whether they were family of the blood or of the spirit, we turn our thoughts to the people who have passed through the veil with no one to mourn them, no one to remember their names. Today, we memorialize you, you who passed out of our world unknown, perhaps unloved, or unseen, or unwanted. Today, we honor you, you who were taken from your family by cruel oppressors who would break your bodies and souls while trading your lives for profit. Today, we lift you up and welcome you in, you who died in the deserts, in the ocean, crossing borders, seeking a better life for yourselves and for your families. You died as babies, as children, as young people, as elders. You died unexpectedly, accidentally, at the hands of others or at your own hands. You died whole and healthy, or diseased and sick, or simply aged out and passed away with no one left to hold you. You died yesterday. You died thousands of years ago. Your bones lay in unmarked graves or have returned completely to the soil. All of you, however you lived and however you left this world, you may have crossed over unnoticed. But for now, today, you are remembered. Now, you are unforgotten. Bone by bone, we honor you. 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 We lay you down for all that you've been through. We lay you down and promise to remember you. Today we invite you to feast for a while, to enjoy the good food and a warm blanket and the love of this community who never knew you, but who honor and remember you today. May you feel and know yourself loved. What is remembered lives.
I invite you to join me in a spoken response. We remember them. With words from Rabbi Sylvan Kamens. First, we remember you, our UUCM ancestors, family members, and friends. We remember you who have died during this year's Circle Around the Sun. We remember you, our beloved and oh so present dead. We remember you, you unnamed and forgotten. With the gift of remembrance, we remember all of you. You are dead but not forgotten, never forgotten. And you live on within us and within those who are yet to come. What is remembered lives. And now I invite you to join me in the spoken response. The response is we remember them. I invite Carmen and Gail and Cheryl and Linda and Beth to assist me. At the rising of the sun and in its going down, we remember them. At the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter, we remember them.
We remember them. At the blueness of the skies and the warmth of the summer, we remember them. At the rustling of the leaves and the beauty of autumn, we remember them. The beginning of the year and when it ends, we remember them.
When we are weary and in need of strength.
We remember them.
When we are lost and sick of heart.
We remember them.
When we have joy we crave to share.
We remember them.
When we have decisions that are difficult to make.
We remember them.
When we have achievements that are based on theirs, we remember them. As long as we live, they too will live. For they are now a part of us as we remember them. What is remembered lives. The words and wisdom of Perdita Finn to close our ritual remembrance. You do not need an altar to your ancestors. You need only to step outside and feel the dead beneath your feet. The dead bear you up, within and without. Beneath you are their bodies, the bodies of vanished oceans and long-gone forests, the bodies of insects, fungi, trees, and mountains, plants, and animals of all kinds. Dirt is nothing but the bodies of the dead.
The dead have seen it all. They have seen civilizations rise and fall. Species come, stars die and disappear from the sky. The dead hold the wisdom of all time. And if we ask them, if we feel them beneath us, they will guide our feet going forward.
The whole world is nothing but an altar to the dead. Every day is the Day of the Dead. Today, we are asked to remember that and reclaim that forgotten wisdom.
Death is what happens when life happens. Stars die, mountains die, everyone dies, everything dies, and all is reborn out of the dirt of the dead. May we remember it to be so, day by day by day, as we move upon this earth until we too become part of it once again.
In closing, we release those unseen that have joined us here. Spirits, guests from the place beyond, it's time for you to return. We may or may not have known you in life, but on this day, we have honored you and celebrated you. We have remembered you. Now, we send you back, across the veil, to the place where you belong as our beloved dead. May you rest easy. Until we meet again, farewell. If you want to rise, feel free. Otherwise, we're saluting, starting in the north. We'll unwind our silence. Oh, first though, spirits and guardians of the center, of the above and the below, thank you for sharing your presence with us today. We release you, and you are free to go. Hail and farewell. Hail and farewell. Guardians and spirits of the north, guided by earth, we thank you for blessing our sacred circle today and for bringing your powers of endurance and strength. We release you. You are free to go. Hail and farewell. Hail and farewell. Guardians and spirits of the west, guided by water, we thank you for blessing our circle today and for bringing your powers of passion and emotion. We release you. You are free to go. Hail and farewell. Hail and farewell. Guardians and spirits of the south, guided by fire, we thank you for blessing our sacred circle today and for bringing your powers of energy and will. We release you. You are free to go. Hail and farewell. Hail and farewell. Guardians and spirits of the east, guided by air, we thank you for blessing our sacred circle today and for bringing your powers of knowledge and wisdom. We release you. You are free to go. Hail and farewell. Hail and farewell. The circle is open but unbroken. What is remembered lives. Merry meet and merry part and merry meet again.
Yes, while you're risen, a thank you to Beth Carroll for the beauty of ceremony and word today, and the altar prepared with Linda Siska and Angelo's help. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Angelo, thank you for all the work yesterday and also staffing the computer this morning. To our, we call them acolytes, as our shorthand today. Carmen, Cheryl, Linda, Gail, thank you. Thank you to everyone who volunteered to help greet people at the gate, to help be welcomers, write names, all of you who were part of helping this happen. Thanks for the beautiful dancing accompanied by Julie's beautiful singing. Jordan for making music in yet another circumstance with all that comes with it. We did not take an off traditional way today. Our baskets at the tables. This is our final Sunday where we're supporting as our Pass the Plate partner of the month, Habitat for Humanity. I invite you to give as you are so moved. Before we close, there's a drum circle at 1 o'clock if anyone wants to come back for a drum circle, and a singing meditation at 3 o'clock, all right here in the same building. I invite us, in a way we have not been able to do for a good long while, to share a community benediction together. These words that we say to remind us that we carry this light, this warmth, this community with us in the course of the week. As Beth extinguishes our chalice, together let us carry the flame of peace and love until we meet again. Thank you for those who joined us via Zoom, and Eileen and Scotty for helping attend to people there. May this week be a blessing. Let us go forth, remembering and knowing that what is remembered lives.